welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
It's been a while.
Yes, a little bit. We skipped 1 week.
Yeah. Which is good enough because that gave me time to watch the topic of this episode.
Yeah, just as a fair warning to any listeners, there might be a short hiatus. We'll probably have one more episode before the end of the month, but there might be a short hiatus. I can't say the reason why on here. There's just personal stuff right now going on.
Yeah, just so people aren't alarmed when we're not here for maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah. But other than that, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, here's all you also do pretty well. You get involved with the show in real time. What you do is you point yourself at ntrradio.net. You go to the RC chat link, give yourself a nickname there, click on the button and join us in the RC channel. Alternatively, you can take your favorite IRC client and point it at irc.ryzen.net and join us in the # SLC media channel. In addition, you can get at us on Twitter at TAnubis, at VZMK2, at NTR_radio, and as always, the email address to get involved with the show is ntrradio@gmail.com. So I don't think I've watched a thing in the past few weeks.
Except for the topic. All right, well, no, that's fine. I watched a couple of things. One thing so now there's subtitles for the Tokyo Seven Sisters movie. And I do recommend it. It's kind of the third tier idol franchise that I am into. First is Idolmaster, second is Love Live, and then Tokyo Seven Sisters is kind of the third one.
Right.
We'll see how that one in the October that Doug Okubo's going to do called Selection Project. That I'm really hoping that one I might have high hopes for because it's Doug Okubo.
Right.
And some of the designs look nice, and they gave him the three sizes, unlike the new Love Live. I don't know what that's all about, but I don't get it why they don't have the three sizes there anymore. I feel like that's an edict right from because it's on NHK over there, which is like their PBS. And they said, no, you cannot have their three sizes. That's looting the girls.
Yeah, I've never understood why people have a problem with that.
Because you're sexualizing them. You're
not really.
You're obsessing about their, bust size or breast.
Not really.
Or butt size.
No,
I know. That's
people say that it's obsessing about them. No, I think people who are saying that's obsessing about them are the people who are actually obsessed with people's three sizes and sexualizing.
Well, listen, any, especially with my own stuff, you gotta put the three sizes there. It's like, why not?
I just see it as helping out people making art and helping out the character designers.
Yeah. What's the other thing? Oh, so I rewatched the show that now I finally watched the uncensored version. Emote show. Recently, My Sister is Unusual.
I watched a few episodes of that back.
Yeah, it's a cute little emoto, pseudo incest show, but not really.
Well, I mean, back when that came out, like a lot of us were writing it off as like another one of those also rans. Like, what was the other one that wasn't also an also ran? I think it was like I Don't Like You at All, Big Brother.
Oh yeah. That was the one with the hideous art style.
Yeah.
There was also Naikamo.
My Sister is among them.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a the one that like killed it. See, all right, because I've been thinking, like when I was watching this, I was kind of thinking, okay, what were the pre-jet or I don't know the word, but the thing that like sort of brought the thing into making them those type of shows. Now we know, so there was Ori Emo.
Yeah, Ori Emo really took off the trend.
Kisses and Ori Emo,
right,
were the two. There was another one. Not Eromanga Sensei, because that was later. But I remember there was another early one.
Yusuke no Sora? That was like I don't even remember this accurately. That this was I think it was the same year as Orimo,
Yeah, I gotta check that out. But our email got way more attention.
of course. No, Yasugi no. I'll be the first person to say Yasugi no Sora is kind of is much more of a niche product than Orimo.
Yeah, yeah. But I was gonna say, then it came. It was starting to go down, but then it came back with Arrow Manga Sensei, and then it died with My Sister, My Rider.
Mm.
That was the genre killer of that. That
All
was
right,
the one that
so
was like,
to 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 break it down, not only was Yusuke no Sora the same year, it was the same season.
uh well, it was funny because nobody paid it. Nobody made a you know a thing about it, and of course I know the reason. It's because it wasn't back then. It wasn't like streamed. Nobody licensed it at the time.
Well,
Nobody.
there's also other like e- back then, like people made a thing about shows, but it was not quite as bad as it is now.
Yeah, that's true because social media wasn't as there wasn't like the Twitter and all that the way there is now.
Right.
Um, but yeah, my sister, my writer, that was the one with the really bad animation, and then the production credits were like when translated was like, please help us or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
And what's the other thing that I watched? Oh, so I watched a couple of episodes of the show that I told you about that I've been meaning to watch for a long time. I only watched the first four, but Red Photon Zillion
Mm.
was just the show that I told you was kind of like 80s Sega,
Right.
the advertisement. Their guns are the light guns that the system had. But here's the thing. I don't know what came first. I don't know if the anime came first and then the light guns were based on that or the other way around.
Mm.
Because what was called the Mark III, over here was the Sega Master System.
Right.
Because the reason why it was the Mark III, there were other Sega systems before.
Yeah, it wasn't
They
Sega's
just
first
never,
console.
yeah, they just never came over here. The first one was the Sega Master System, and that came out in 1986. The anime came out in 87. To put in perspective, the Nintendo Famicom, came out in 1983 and came out over here in 1985 as
Right.
the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Right.
But honestly, the Nintendo did not become big, did not become like this the big thing, because the stop until I would say 87, 88.
Mm.
Because there was the first release, the one where they had the robot.
Rob.
Yes, Rob.
Yeah.
That was because of the whole gaming crash thing.
Yeah.
They
People.
were trying to sell it as a toy.
Yeah, they were trying to market it differently, not as a game console, because everyone thought game consoles were cancer.
Well, the thing is, part of it is because maybe I was only 1 year old, but the other thing was the whole like what was it called? The video game crash. Honestly, I don't think it was as big of a deal as people like to say it was.
No, this is what happened with like every fucking history of video gaming thing is basically only covers pre-crash gaming as a lead up to Nintendo coming in and saving the world.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like
here's the thing. It's like you had how many different personal computers competed, like ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64.
Atari was still releasing games.
Well, Atari was still releasing games. Atari was releasing game consoles into the 90s. But
Yeah, actually no, because I had the Atari, and very I know why it bombed because it terrible timing. It came out too late, but
yeah.
The 7800 is actually a decent 8-bit console. If you ever, uh, yeah, there's two flight simulator games that you would have loved then.
I don't know if I would have loved them then, because there's not a whole lot you can do with a flight simulator back then.
There were flight simulators slash like games.
Well, it's like I understand. I'm saying
Mm.
like because you also have to understand. I grew up in like mid '90s gaming. Like
Okay.
that's like
Yeah, I know.
with this that's solidified to me. It's like Mech Warrior 2, Virtual On in the arcade and on the Saturn, stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
I'm already used to like simplistic 3D polygons.
Mm. So anyway, back to Zillion. It's a pretty good show actually. Uh, really good like production value.
Yep, for like an
Uh,
80s TV series too.
yeah, yeah. I think it's something you would like. But you know what's funny? I was thinking because Opa Opa from the Fantasy Zone game
Yeah.
is in it. You know what would have been funnier if either that or they retooled the concept and it was like Captain N, but like with pre Sonic the Hedgehog Sega characters.
That would be that that could go that could go either way. Cuz
So
here's
like
the thing.
Altered Beast, Space Harrier, um, what was that one something kid?
Alex Kidd. Yeah,
Yeah, Alex Kid,
that was like their attempt to make a mascot before
Sonic.
Sonic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And this is why I kind of disagree. And it's not that I don't think that would be good. It's that every time Sega basically copies what Nintendo does, it's not like it always kind of pales in comparison. So like Sonic Shuffle. What's hilarious is they had like the same dev team who made Mario Party work on Sonic Shuffle, and it still ended up not being as good a game. 'Cause as much as I big up Sonic Shuffle, obviously Mario Party's the better game. Sonic Shuffle is just I just like Sonic Shuffle because its game mechanics force you to be a dick to people. But that's my thing. I don't like it when Sega copies Nintendo because they're always best when they're doing their own thing.
Mm.
But yeah, I do plan on checking out Zillion.
Yeah, yeah. Funimation licensed it.
Oh wow,
Mm.
huh? That's unexpected.
Yeah, I heard the Blu-ray's not that good,
Ah.
so I didn't. That's why I never. But weird to say, I actually knew about Zillion, seeing it in Sam Goody, and what it was only the first 5 episodes, one episode per tape,
Whoa.
and then the OVA. Yeah, you know who was in charge of that? Carl Masek and Streamline.
Oh.
And that tells me that there might have been were trying to get it like a TV deal.
Right.
I wonder if that was a that I wouldn't be surprised. But
See,
maybe because of the Sega-ness of it, and Sega wasn't as big as as Nintendo at the time.
they didn't really Sega didn't really catch on in the US until the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
See, a lot of people shit on Carl Masek. I don't think anything was his fault. I think he was just trying, like, he just liked anime or just wanted to get anime over
He
here.
was trying to do anime in what was the best possible in the best way at the time.
Yeah. Well,
What the
basically
market
the only way he
conditions.
could, but all the rules surrounding like TV and whatnot kind of forced his hand. He had to do what ended up happening with Robotech.
Yeah. The irony now is Robotech's being released on Blu-ray and by Funimation now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not happy about it.
Yeah, that's gonna look.
But I wouldn't have bought it anyway because it's Robotech, so I don't know why I'm thinking
Oh,
that.
I know.
Anything else? Because I do have. I please believe I have opinions on the
Oh,
Evangelion movie.
I bought bought yes, I bought a figure.
Oh yeah,
Well, my yes, um, Itsuki from Coincidental Quintuplets,
excellent.
the Nendoroid. So I have Yotsuba and Itsuki, and I also have Nino on pre-order for.
Mm,
So I'm gonna have 3 out of the 5.
I might have to see about getting all five. I would.
Uh,
And I know this is like irrational, but I would feel bad if I
I
didn't get
know.
all five.
It's kind of
It,
it's
it's
kind of an irksome thing.
well, this is another one of those anime where every girl is best girl.
Mm,
Obviously, Miku's better than the rest of them, but every girl is best girl.
yeah. Well, her re-release is coming out in October,
Yeah.
so if you want her, and they might. You never know. They might do a re-release of uh, Ichika. Is that her name?
Ichika. Yeah, I might
Ichika.
also just check my distributor. They might have it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. Our topic.
Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. Thrice
Yeah.
Upon a Time. The movie.
Yeah. I made you this one. I made you watch this one
Yeah, well,
because
I was gonna watch it eventually. Obviously, it's the new Evangelion movie. It's the last Evangelion movie. So, obviously, follow up to Eva 3.0.
which I
Wait,
liked. A lot of people were kind of decisive on that one.
I enjoyed Eva 3.0. I thought I thought the direction it went was interesting, and I also thought the 3.0 plus 1.0 was interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I'll be right back. 1 sec. I'm sorry. Give me 1 sec. Okay.
Okay, we're back.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the what they were doing in like plot wise in 3.0 plus 1.0 was interesting. I like the aspect of okay, basically post apocalypse. Wheel is going around trying to restore different parts of the earth and whatnot. I like that part, but here's my overall opinion, and maybe this is gonna sound like the hottest possible take, but bear with me.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like what. So you know how like writers for Marvel and whatnot will take superheroes and like basically completely change their origin story and completely change the kind of person they are, and change everything about the superhero except basically the superhero.
Yeah. Oh, so pretty much what they're doing now with Marvel and DC.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the rebuild of Evangelion series is that with Evangelion.
Oh
And,
yeah. Well, that
wait,
kind of.
I'm not convinced that the entire rebuild saga needed to be an Evangelion work, and I actually think it's kind of held back by having to be associated with Evangelion.
I actually kind of agree, but because he even said like from what I heard, like it was going to be a different thing,
Yeah,
but
I,
it's Evangelion because um, I'm probably because of it would make more money.
well,
It
it
would be
has to
associated.
ride on the IP, and I feel like that it's held back by that. I think it would have been better if it was that other thing instead. Because by associating it with Evangelion, you're preloading a whole bunch of expectations that the series just goes and flagrantly disregards.
Although there is some stuff I'm finally glad that they showed off.
There's one thing in particular that I'm glad they showed in this movie that I think the series actually would have been better if it had incorporated it. And that was the whole thing with Gendo's past,
Yes,
where
yes.
they showed that Gendo was basically Shinji in the past until he met Yui, and that's the reason why he's so desperate to get Yui back, because she basically brought him into life, and without her he believes he has nothing. I think that was very valuable, and I think that would have gone really well in the TV series.
Gendo saying sorry to Shinji.
Yeah, that entire sequence with Shinji and his dad actually having a conversation, I think that's very valuable. I think that would have been real good to have in the series proper.
Mm.
I I did find the whole part in the beginning where you see older Toji Suzuhara, older Kensuke Aida, and they're like living their life in the village in like the agrarian village post apocalypse. I think that scene was really well. I think that entire sequence with the all of the character building that happened within that sequence, I thought that was really valuable. I
Yeah,
think
showing
some of
them
it,
how they live.
like showing them how they live and showing the how each Ava pilot is integrating into society or not. I think I think some of it was kind of thrown away by the events that would happen like immediately after. But overall, I question why I question that this needed to be an Evangelion work. I think it would have been a lot better if it was its own original thing that could have been built up from like could have been built up from the point it was at like in in the beginning of the rebuild saga, because there's anime is no stranger to anime that takes after Evangelion. Like
Mm.
we call like stuff like Razafan post Evangelion anime for a reason. Like, it's not a crime to take after Evangelion in many ways in the anime world. But that's my issue with it is I I really don't I think it's held back significantly by having to be associated with Evangelion, because what happens is you're taking Evangelion's characters and Evangelion's like general world and everything, and doing things with it that are could be seen as questionable at best. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I think they did Asuka dirty, not just in this movie, but throughout the entire Rebuild saga.
Although I like the was it the part uh her force feeding Shinji.
But yeah, I liked that part. I like I liked Asuka in this last movie, but in general, I think they did her character real dirty throughout this entire saga, and I'm not happy about it.
Now I know some people, and I think you too, don't like Mari, but I do.
I need to ask you a question, VZ, because
Yeah.
I still I've watched all four of them, and I'm still confused. Who the fuck is Mari Makinami? Like, who
I
is
think she
she?
was something from the past that you see. Yeah, they don't 100% explain.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
So like that's my issue. Is like, how was she supposed to fit in?
Like a girl with glasses and big boobs.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
that's basically it. And my question is, how is she supposed to fit in to the rest of the rest of these pre-established characters in this Evangelion saga? She really doesn't, and that makes me even more question why this needed to be an Evangelion work. If you wanted to make an anime with one one girl who's like listless and kind of quiet and so, sort of not there,
Girl.
and then
Yeah.
one girl who's kind of a bitch, and then one girl who's like Genki with glasses and all that shit. You can do that. It doesn't have to
Girl
be an
Shinji.
Evangelion anime.
This time you have girl Shinji.
You can do that. It doesn't have to be an Evangelion anime. Is my thing.
Mm.
It kind again it kind of throws the whole Evangelion thing for a loop. I feel like it's really held back by needing to be associated with Evangelion, because now you're throwing in stuff that has nothing to do with what Evangelion was, has nothing to do with what Evangelion was trying to accomplish. Like it's a problem to me that I still don't know who the fuck Mari Makinami is. Like, she literally drops out of the sky, and then she's Miss Perfect for 4 movies.
And then at the end wins.
Yeah,
Scoreboard.
yeah, that's wild to me. That's
And then
absolutely wild to me.
and then yeah.
Like, why? How? Where? What is her relationship to anything that's going on? I'm serious. I don't.
Because Asuka was a bitch to her to Shinji.
Well, yeah.
So
That's the issue though. There's a reason Asuka was a bitch to Shinji, and maybe it's the movie's fault for not exploring Asuka's character like they were supposed to. And I say like they were supposed to. Obviously, they wanted to do something different. But if they wanted to do something different, they should have done something different. It doesn't need to be an Evangelion anime. It's like it's exactly like what they're doing with Marvel and DC. You could make new superheroes, but they want to ride off of the popularity of these superheroes. So you could make a new anime, but they want to ride off of the popularity of Evangelion. And here's the thing. There are paths that could have gone down that would have made more sense. They have a within the Evangelion like expanded universe, they have another Eva pilot. They have another heroine they could have used. I don't know. I don't know who Mari is. I don't know who she's to, because Evangelion is supposed to mean something, yeah. Like it's supposed to have, it's supposed to be going towards something, and I don't know how Mari fits into that. And the only reason it's a problem is because it's Evangelion. It wouldn't really be a problem if it was just some if it was just some series, some movie series, some philosophical mecha anime movie series. But it's only a problem because it's Evangelion. That's the issue. Is you can make a trillion different anime. They could be varying degrees of good or bad, but if you accomplish what you're going for, then that's cool in the gang.
Did you like the fight with Gendo and Shinji in the Avery units? I thought that was an
I
interesting.
thought that was really interesting. I thought it was I thought it was very clever how they first they explain, okay, well, we're in the anti-universe now. So the universe is allowing itself to be perceived in a way that can be that can be recognized by humans. So and every time they battle, they're like actually on a soundstage.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
start out in the Tokyo 3 and it turns out to be one of those sound stages they use when they do tokusatsu films.
It almost looked like a sort of like like going through like the greatest hits type of thing. Like here's the scene of them in Ritsuko's not Ritsuko Misato's apartment.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's like do you remember that scene in Gundam Unicorn where Full
yes,
Frontal and
yes, it was
Banage are
showing all.
going they're going through, okay, well here's like the I think it was like here's where Laplace blew up and here's Axis and here's all this. Like they were going through like all the significant areas be- between the various like Evangelion sagas.
But one thing two things I didn't like that they did. Um, which I knew was going to be I knew that they were going to retread of uh End of Ava, but not be as visceral. Like, and what I mean by visceral, like psychologically visceral.
Right.
Because first off, holy shit, that 3D CG Ray was terrible.
Yeah, I can kind of understand why they did that. But I don't think it was a good call.
The other thing that like those I forgot what they were called, but like the Mark series
The
of Ava's
I
with the skulls.
I'm that's another beef I have with the later rebuild series. They and maybe I'm just being nitpicky. I feel like they're watering down what an Evangelion is supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean, I do
again,
like
this wouldn't be a problem if they had
Mars.
picked a different IP, if they had created a new IP and not done Evangelion. But when you're starting in the Evangelion universe, and Evangelion is this massive thing. It costs like $85 quadrillion to build. We only have four, and they're literally our
One of
last
them
hope.
blows up. Yeah, which I wish. See, that's something I wish the rebuild movies did. I can understand for the TV series, but I wish they showed the scene of of Unit 4 awakening and then blowing up like Nevada or
Yo,
wherever.
that would have been so cool.
Here's the found footage. It awakens and then it just goes,
And then
and
yeah,
then
and
yeah.
then the fucking Nevada's facility vanishes. But I think having like deploying literally millions of Evangelions by the end of the movie is
Yeah.
it, it's dumbing down what an Evangelion is. What of an Evangelion like when End of Eva happened and you saw like I think it was 10 or so mass produced Evangelions. That was a
I
big
think it was
fucking deal.
7. I think it was
So
7.
it was some it, like and it wasn't many of them, but the whole point of there being mass-produced Evangelions, that was a big deal, because it was like, whoa, holy shit, where did these come from? We only know we have the resources to build like four.
Maybe it was 9 because
Yeah, it was nine.
yeah, because 13.
Yeah, it was nine, like nine mass-produced Avas, and they all look weird. Like it has impact.
Yeah, it worked for that. No, I get you.
Yeah, but
It's
when you're in Paris and you see a whole bunch of things that are all identified as Evangelion units, and like they're all standing in a line as power conductors to a bigger Evangelion unit. Like it's saying like it's like the difference between a mobile suit and a Gundam.
right, right. No,
Like it would be like if every Zaku was a Gundam. If every MS Dom was a Gundam.
that's because again, I told you that thing about with Gundam that when I was younger, I thought they were all Gundams.
Yeah, exactly. It would be
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Gundam is a specific type of mobile suit with this specific, look, and it's no, no. Oh no, they're all Gundams.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be like if every single one was a Gundam, and if like it's I don't know, it's again, all this could have been avoided by making something else other than Evangelion, but they chose to make Evangelion.
Although, truthfully, like he had like another thing of depression again. I
True.
know. After he made the Godzilla movie, uh, there was kind of like a sort of, what do I do now to end this?
Right. I don't know. I just really, really think linking it to Evangelion really holds it back.
No, no, I agree with you. I still like what I see. It's not all
Like it was a good movie, but man, like I can't stop thinking about Evangelion. Like I can't stop thinking about the TV series. It's like I get that it's something different. But please believe I get that it's something different. Like
I'm sure you agree.
I don't
I was gonna say, no.
obviously like Eva the TV series and End of Eva and Rebuild is basically not even Evangelion to me. But I can't stop linking it back to Evangelion because it's trying to be Evangelion.
But let's see, you agree with me. The back and forth between 2D and then 3D Avas was a terrible. Uh, that I don't know what that is other than time saving.
I kind of yeah, I kind of get it. I don't like it, but I kind of get it. I they also they're not taking advantage of the what you're able to do in CG that you're not able to do in 2D animation, which uh, there are not many anime that do 3D CG mecha that do that. They're on the rise, but people still need to learn how to be able to do that. But yeah,
Well, again, it's less about using CG to do things you can't do in 3D, do in 2D, and more about because it saves on time.
well that's the issue. Is you can do it because it saves on time, but you need to also use it. You need to use it properly. Don't use 3D CG to do the same kind of shots you would in 2D. Because it just makes it look like you're trying to copy 2D animation. People are gonna look like that, like a people are gonna look at that like I look at Rebuild compared to Evangelion. People are like, nah, well, you could have this could have been good if if it wasn't trying to be the thing that's better.
A lot of people did not like the message at the end.
I mean, I'm not certain what the message was. I don't think it had a really different message at the very end
Well, the whole
than
like
Evangelion had.
grow up and be a salary man type of.
I don't know that that was the message at the end.
Well, that's what a lot of people were taking it as.
I don't know that they watched the same movie I did. The movie
Um,
I watched had basically the exact same message as the rest of Evangelion.
yeah,
So yeah,
salary man
bad shit
Shinji,
is
and
gonna
then he turned.
happen. Well, bad shit is gonna happen in your life, but that's not worth throwing everything away. Like you have to be able to take the bad shit with the good shit. Because if you throw everything away, you are also throwing out the good shit, and the good shit is worth going through the bad shit in order to in order to live your life. Anyone, I feel like anyone who read the Salaryman thing in probably has some preconceived notions that they should probably take care of before watching Evangelion. Because I don't think
Well, because of the
you're
whole
not gonna
like,
get Evangelion if you have that shit clouding your mind.
well, because the end of the Shinji and Mari are salaryman people, and up it
Oh,
turns into live action.
no,
Stop living in fantasy, live
they're
in reality.
they're fuck the it's so frustrating talking. Well, not even talking, but like people, especially when they try and attribute an anti-otaku narrative to Evangelion that was made by Gainax,
Mm,
which was founded by a bunch of otaku who made things like the Daikon films and Otaku no Video.
yeah,
Like it's like when people discovered Shaft when Madoka came out, and then like Denpa Onna came out the next season, and we're like, "Whoa, what's this?"
yeah. I remember that.
Because they hadn't they came in on Madoka, but they didn't know what Shaft had done before then, so it's like, yeah,
They
well,
came in because of that the writer Gen Ikuf.
again, Urobuchi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, well, I mean,
Which I
perhaps,
never heard of before. I was like, up Shaft, up um Umi Oki character
well,
designs.
yeah, and that's why you watched it, which is a legitimate reason. But I'm saying they came in, they jumped on the Shaft train. They didn't jump on the Madoka train. They jumped on the Shaft train. They were like, yes, yeah, man, Studio Shaft. But they never watched anything Studio Shaft had made before Madoka. Because if they did, they would have been all up on things like Sayonara Resetsubo Sensei and Hidamari Sketch and all that. So they would have known. So by the time Denpa Onna came out, they wouldn't have been like, whoa, what's this? So
People
similarly,
forget.
people come in on Evangelion thinking it's an anti-otaku thing, don't understand that fuck the a lot of the same people who worked on Evangelion probably also worked on Otaku no Video. It's not like this isn't like what they had to change a heart in those like what 4 years. It's not that's not what happened. They're not gonna suddenly do a massive anti-otaku narrative based on like for what? It doesn't make sense. It's
I
people
like how
trying to
people
project their
forget
own.
Shafted Popotan.
Well, no, people don't forget Shafted Popotan. They don't fucking know Shafted Popotan.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah.
They never discovered Shafted Popotan because they jumped on the Shaft train after Madoka.
They might have seen Bakemonogatari before.
Maybe they've maybe seen Bakemonogatari. Maybe. But yeah, that I don't know that the people who took that from the fourth rebuild movie watched the same movie that I did, because
I don't
I
know.
have
All the
no
threads on
idea.
4chan, that's what I kept seeing over and over. It was the whole like, you know, well, what's with the salaryman message and all that? Grow up and be a boring salaryman.
I have no idea where they're getting that from. No clue at all.
Right at the end, they took,
Yeah, they're in the normal real world. I get that. I don't
you know,
I don't know why that's a grow up and be a salaryman match. That's like that
because
would
they're
be
in
like
business
taking
too,
fucking
and
well that would be like taking fucking the alternate realities, the like 5 minute alternate reality sequence at the end of episode 26 of the TV
yeah.
series, and saying, "Oh, you should just be a normal school person." And the saying
Mm.
that's the fucking, because that happens right before the little end of the series. So that'd be like taking that as the message of Evangelions. You should just go to school and be normal. And so it ignores basically everything that happened to it. Do people forget that this is like a forced movie series? Like, and that's what they think is the culmination. Just grow up and be a salaryman. Again, I
I
think
don't know.
I think these
That's what it
people
seemed like.
had I think these people have primed themselves to see that as the message to this particular kind of media, and eh, I don't think that's healthy. I wouldn't recommend it. I
I think you
wouldn't
should write an
recommend
article
looking
about
through
that.
and seeing like that in everything, because that's the only way that makes sense to me, is that if they see that in basically everything.
That would make a good article
I
for you
think
to
I
write.
think it would. These are, I feel like this is kind of the same kind of mentality that looks at like Shirobako and
Right.
sees something similar in that.
Right. Like, oh, the pay the animators more
Yeah,
message.
yeah.
Why are the animators being paid more?
Well, that again, that's something where
And
people
that's
look at basically everything. Like when people look at the Cool Japan initiative and say, why isn't this helping the animators get paid more? Not thinking maybe that's not the goal of that. You can debate whether that's right or wrong for that not to be the goal, but if you're looking to everything as a this is why, as a reason they should pay the animators more, or look into everything to
I got
solve
an
that
answer
problem,
to that.
you're going to be very, very disappointed
I
repeatedly.
got a
I don't know why
I
you
got a
would.
mega I got the ultimate answer for that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Why these people see these things like that, and I figured it out. And it goes back to what I said about I knew this was going to happen when they made the live action Ghost in the Shell movie. All right?
Okay, go on. I'm intrigued.
Okay. Because the original movie and the manga set up a world where it doesn't state the moral objective of
Right.
it.
Right.
All right? And of course, the concept of is it wrong, is it right or wrong that these, or that humanity is being all, made as cyborgs and all that.
Right.
It's just, this is the world, this is the way it is. These are the characters. It's not saying, but I knew that when they were going to make a movie, that they were going to go the RoboCop route. And I love RoboCop, don't get me wrong, but Ghost in the Shell isn't RoboCop.
Right.
And by it, they attached a moral objective that, oh, it's wrong that Kusanagi's, has to be a cyborg and
Right.
all
It's
that.
like they made me into a monster and they erased my past and all that.
Yes, yes. And now I have to be an assassin
Yeah.
for this corporation. But let's say I knew that was going to happen, and that's just in general. Japanese media doesn't you yourself can come to the moral conclusion, but the media itself isn't going to really state that.
Right. It puts forth a premise, but it asks questions. It doesn't try to answer them.
Whereas American media always puts forth a sort of moral you know, and I think that just has to do with the more, besides the more politicized notion of us, uh, we just are very more black and white in thinking culturally.
Yeah, well, there's also a lot of like that doesn't happen all the time, but I find that a lot of the best media are things that asks questions rather than try to answer them.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, that's just my opinion.
But uh, they want to be told what the, you know, objective is, rather than uh
Rather than
because I
figure
remember
that out for
like
themselves.
even, yeah, or even like I remember people like, you know, Akira was a big movie, right?
Right,
But you still hear to this day like, I don't understand the ending, I
right.
don't get the ending, you know, and it's not that hard to figure out. And other things too that sort of, as you said, they set up the world, they set up the premise, but you yourself could come to that conclusion on your own if what's being seen as moral or not.
Right.
And I actually think it makes a more interesting, like just form of media telling, storytelling.
Yeah, I generally think that
I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of up, to, you know, but not to the point of where they have to spell it out to you,
yeah,
like this is wrong. This is wrong. That this is, you know, happening to the,
yeah,
you know, these kind.
the problem is that when media gets obsessed with actually pushing a particular perspective or narrative, then there's potential for that to be too preachy or various other complaints people have about that kind of media.
You know, that's why I find the third of the Dark Knight trilogy movie to be the weakest one, because it tried to push more than what it really needed to, as
Mm,
far as like the whole, you know, well, Gotham City's decaying and Bane is, you know, here to says he's for the people, but he's really evil, and you
right.
know, it's, you know, the second one was more interesting because of the concept of just the way they presented the Joker
Yeah.
as a sort of just the embodiment of chaos. And that's always been the thing with the Joker and Batman is, you know, it's Joker's always been the total antithesis of Batman, which is
Right.
why that's worked so well. Um,
Well, so to bring it back to Evangelion, Evangelion is the latter kind of work of media. It does have a message, and it's trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you what is right and what is wrong. The part of, I think kind of the issue is people like to graft their own perspectives onto that rather than actually letting the show tell you what its perspective is.
well, that just goes back to that shit that I absolutely despise, which is the whole postmodern interpretation, which is different from what I said about you yourself coming to a conclusion. Say that's different from like when a Japanese piece of Japanese media has doesn't have the moral objective. You yourself could come to it, rather than rather than like, okay. Because again, when I was in art school and the whole like um you know, it's like, what does this mean to you?
Right.
And it's like, even though the message is right there at the time, and Ava, because as yeah, Ava isn't as cryptic as people like to make it out.
It really is not.
No, it's
They literally take, like, if you go back to the TV series, they literally take an episode out of the TV series to explain to you exactly what's going on and exactly how things got to where they were. Like, it's not nearly as much of a mindfuck as people make it out to be. It's just that people look at it. The last two episodes are maybe difficult to tell what's going on.
I say I didn't even have a problem with that, because
Well,
Uh,
they spell that out too. Literally in the beginning of episode 26. And this isn't word for word, but it says something like that. It says something. It is such and such 2014 or whatever the year is. The instrumentality of humankind has begun, but because there is not enough time to show the entire process, we will focus on one person, Shinji Ikari, and that's the beginning of the episode, so you know exactly what's going on. Instrumentality is happening, but we're gonna focus on what's happening in the mind of Shinji Ikari during this process.
yes, but hmm. Uh, hmm.
Yeah, that. But yeah, to bring it back to the verdict, I think this would have been a lot. My bottom line, I think this would have been a lot better as something other than Evangelion. I think it's held back by the fact that it has to be Evangelion, and I think it's a missed opportunity to have something that would have been very compelling had it not been associated with a well-established franchise.
Yeah, yeah,
And part of the thing is, like, what they did in like Angelic Days and the Shinji Ikari Raising Project and that all that stuff that's based off of, say, that alternate reality sequence in episode 26, all of that stuff works. But I think they were trying to do too much with the rebuild movies, and that kind of it kind of held it back. You can't you It feels like they're doing too much with Evangelion in particular in a way that's too similar to Evangelion. Like, you can take something that runs off of the premise from the episode 26 alternate reality sequence and you can run with that because that it establishes that little part of it for you to be able to run off of in your own direction. I think trying, like, if we're gonna do, okay, we're episodes 1 through 6 of Ava very accurately, and then we're gonna try and roll into a whole bunch of different things and kind of diverge off that path. I think it would have been much better to just do something that doesn't have to be tied to Evangelion, because you hold yourself back by trying to keep it inside that paradigm.
yeah, yeah.
So was that we never got your verdict?
Um. Okay. Well, I was kind of sprinkling that out. Pretty much a little bit what you said. I like the rebuilds as a separate thing from the TV series.
Agreed.
Um, there's aspects that I will always say the TV series will always be superior at, and that includes End of Ava. Uh, there's some new interesting aspects, and again, I think Mari's great, and I
I
like the
don't.
OA design. What?
I don't.
Okay. um, I see where you're coming from. Uh, and I liked how they at least ended this. It was a good, like, okay, if we're going from this route, it was a good way to end it this time.
Right.
As another definitive end
Right.
to the franchise.
Yeah.
Um, they said they'll do more Ava stuff, just nothing after. So that could
Angelic
be
Days
anything.
TV series. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, they had that one, Petite Ava.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. So it could be anything like that. They should do like the equivalent of like, like those Idolmaster shorts.
Poochie Mass.
Yeah, Poochie Mass or Geki Joe, the Cinderella Girls theater.
Honestly, I said that as a joke, but
Something like that.
I would actually watch an Angelic Days TV series. I think that would be very interesting. I think I think I think it would be more interesting than than the concept behind Rebuild.
I thought it was cool that Kara did the helped out in the animation for that thing that Voyager music video.
Oh yeah,
That yeah, yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out.
yeah, it was Clover, which is CloverWorks, which
Mm,
is basically A1 Pictures
right.
people,
A1 Pictures, Aniplex.
and Kara.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to check that
And
out.
all the dancing is normal 2D
Hey,
dancing.
cool.
Um, so yeah, I did like the movie. The first half an hour, the first like half an hour was a little long, but at the same time, I understand it because we're trying to show how the people were living their life and how society was rebuilding itself.
Right.
So that I get what they're doing, but then the whole rest was just like, crazy action.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Oh, that's the show then.
Yeah, I guess that's the show. I gotta find out what that. Anyone know what that? Listening to this know what that format of letter? It's not 16:9. It's something much thinner. What that is called? Because I really like that.
Yeah, I might check it out again and get back to you, because I don't think it was 21:9 because that would have filled up my entire screen. But yeah,
I used the 1280 version,
right.
but yeah.
The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. Check out VZ stuff at vzmk2 morimekagatai.wordpress.com. He has the Big Book of Idols. That's thebigbookofIdols.com. I have iyashike.moe, otakuentrepreneur.net. The Otaku Entrepreneur book is at otakuentrepreneur.net. Click the book link. That'll take you to where you can buy the book. I am on Twitter at TAnubis. VZ is on Twitter at VZMK2. The show is on Twitter at NTR_radio. Check out Bakugaijin Show, Otaku Midnight, Asobi FM, and the Geeky Panda stuff at thegeekypanda.net. All their stuff's really good. I'm Tom Nubis.
I'm VZ Mark too.
And even though we get stuck in fourth impact every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.